What's up Internet, Kevin here bringing you guys my full review of Valiant Hearts The Great War from Ubisoft Montpellier. Now this is available on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC. All gameplay you'll be seeing here, as well as my personal experience, is based on the PC version. So Ubisoft has been getting into the recent habit of developing almost indie-like style games at lower price points. We saw another example of this earlier this year with Child of Light, where instead of focusing on just AAA titles where you have the latest graphics, huge open worlds, and supposedly epic storylines, we instead get these nice little $15 or $20 games that have a more artistic approach to their presentation, and also have their own little bit of charm. And Valiant Hearts is a great example of this. It's a very simple game, straightforward, not too long, only 6 or 7, 8 hours tops to play, but it's got a lot of charm and it hits you right in the feels. So Valiant Hearts takes place during World War I, and while the art and specific situations don't always exactly reflect real events, a lot of the set pieces and chronology of events is based on actual history. The game does this kind of interesting jump between gameplay and almost tongue-in-cheek presentation of history to a very serious old-school History Channel narrative dealing with the events of the war and each of the different characters' motivations and lives during it. Even within the game's levels, there's all these collectibles you can find that not only serve as a simple hidden item for completionists to look for, but also provide encyclopedic entries that detail little bits of history, even providing sources for the information. So while the specific stories of Valiant Hearts are dramatizations and fictional characters, it's all framed in a very real and, in an awkward way, historically accurate setting, cartooniness obviously aside. Now, as far as the actual story and gameplay goes, there's basically 4 main characters you shift between the points of view of, including a French soldier, an American who's serving with the French army because much of this takes place before the US's involvement, a German soldier, and a French civilian who ends up acting as a nurse during the war. Perspective constantly shifts between these characters. Sometimes their paths cross and they work together, or they both see the same event through a different side. While the backdrop itself is focused on the war, the story is almost really more about each individual character trying to find or get back to their families, with the exception of the American who's just out for cold-blooded vengeance, leading to a much more combat-focused story. Like I said earlier, this game also jumps around a lot in terms of tone. There's a lot of parts where there's very light-hearted reinterpretations of historical events or of cultures, but at the same time there's other moments that really just clash with the game's aesthetic and get very serious and really kind of make you face the atrocities and horrors of war. Now, actual gameplay itself is in the form of a puzzle game. Despite being in a war, you never actually fight much outside of using a stealthy melee attack to knock out an enemy, or a few mini-game-ish segments where you take control of a tank. The rest of it is entirely focused on just finding ways to navigate from point A to point B, collecting items and using them in a certain way, or just solving puzzles within a single room to get an item you need or open a door. It's all focused on environmental interaction, and each character brings a little bit of variety to what they can do uniquely, such as the American having bolt cutters or the French soldier using a shovel to dig. At some point, each character also has the chance to work alongside the dog, who ends up playing a huge role in most of the game's puzzles, acting as a second character that you can command to reach items your character can't, interact with far-off objects, or simply hold switches for you. The game throws in a few other gameplay elements here and there, tank segments like I mentioned earlier, car chases matched up to classical music, and applying first aid in the form of a rhythm game. The entire game is very simple, and in all honesty, it feels very much like an app game at times, having very simple gameplay and a very simple aesthetic, and only lasting about 6 to 8 hours depending on how good you are with puzzles and how much of a completionist you are. So to sum things up, Valiant Hearts is a simple game with a lot of charm. It's not the longest or most complex title out there, but it's worth a $15 purchase thanks to its strong storytelling and its interesting spin on historical fiction. If you're the kind of person that enjoys puzzle titles, games with simple but delightful art, or games with stories that just aim to hit you right in the feels, then Valiant Hearts is easily worth its $15 price tag. But if you're looking for something a little more actiony, then not so much. I personally really enjoyed it, zero regret on the money I spent for it, though if you are playing on PC, it's definitely the kind of game you'll probably see on a seasonal sale sometime down the road if you're willing to wait. Well, that was my review of Valiant Hearts The Great War. If you guys are interested in grabbing it for yourselves, I do have a link posted down in the description with pricing for the PC version. If you guys want to grab the console version of it, then just check out your respective console's digital market. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button to let me know. And if you're not a subscriber yet, then hit that button too, because I've got more great content planned and on the way. You guys can also follow me on Twitter at Kevin Kenson, where you can hear my up-to-date thoughts on what games I'm playing, my responses to different pieces of gaming news, or just find out what videos I'm planning to upload when and where. I hope to see you guys soon with more content, but until then, I'm Kevin Kenson, and I'll see you guys later.